In this presentation, I will take you through how to put together a STEM Through Stories plan. The first thing that I would do is read the book from cover to cover and take notes of any learning experiences that I come across as I go along. For early level, I think about the hands-on practical tasks the children can get involved in. In this example of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the first task shown is to build a chair for Goldilocks that is just right. The children would have a range of materials to do this, and then they would test with Goldilocks, who may be a Lego figure or a small doll. Before building takes place, you might ask the children to make predictions about which material they think would be the best and most successful to build the chair and why. When they've tested out their chairs, you could also revisit that and ask if their predictions were right. If any of the materials didn't hold up or didn't hold Goldilocks, are there any improvements that could be made to the chairs to make them stronger? I wonder questions are a great way to open up discussions and encourage curiosity. I wonder how to make the perfect porridge is the question used for Goldilocks and the Three Bears here. The children could explore different ways to make the porridge and solve problems if it's too runny or too thick. And they could also taste the porridge. They could add salt and or sugar and taste again, so bringing in work around the senses and using descriptive vocabulary would be part of that. The photo shows challenge cards and stick puppets, which we had in our STEM area for each of the stories. Another example at early level is Jack and the Beanstalk. The children absolutely loved trying to get the cereal hoops onto the spaghetti before the timer runs out. One child became increasingly frustrated every time that they were trying to do this in a hurry because the spaghetti was delicate, so snapped. His friend pointed out that it would actually be easier to get more hoops on a shorter piece of spaghetti, and another suggested using something different other than spaghetti to put the hoops onto, such as a pipe cleaner. They then talked about that they wouldn't then go to the bottom of the piece of pipe cleaner because it was furry in their language. So the conversation that was generated around just one task shows that the amount of communication and problem-solving skills that can be developed are exceptional. When using the paper chain to create a beanstalk, children could measure in rulers, hands, etc., whatever their ability was if they weren't quite able to measure in centimetres just yet, and again exploring length and measure in maths. Building blocks were used to create a castle for the giant. The challenge came when exploring ways to make sure that Jack couldn't get in. Communication and teamwork was key here. Finally, making a parachute for Jack to escape was another task. Again, a range of materials would be available for the children to test and try out, so they would have to investigate which material was best and why. Although working at early level, there's absolutely no reason why terms such as air resistance and surface area can't be mentioned here. When reading first and second level novels, I would go through and note down any learning opportunities I came across. For example, the description on page 17 lends itself to a visualising task. On page 18, it mentions that the son in Matilda seems to have inherited his father's love of crookery, which could link into inheritance in science. On page 32, a simile is highlighted. Roald Dahl uses many similes within his writing, so I may be asking the children to look for more as we read on. The example on page 35 also explores types of language, as Roald Dahl uses barked instead of said. This could be explored, and the children could think about this in their own pieces of writing to enhance or up-level. Some parts of stories lend themselves directly to learning opportunities. For example, when Mr. Wormwood is asking his son to calculate profit. You could get the children to do this as you read, or you could give a task ahead of reading, or ask children to create similar questions for someone else in their own maths group. When I've read the book and noted down all learning opportunities, I then look for any additional resources to support. I go on the assumption that something new is being introduced. Earlier, I mentioned a link to inheritance. A really simple and effective way to explore this is to consider using Mr. Men and Little Miss characters. So what if Little Miss Trouble and Mr. Sneeze had a child? What characteristics did that child inherit? So we can see from the picture here that she inherited Little Miss Trouble's hair colour and freckles, and Mr. Sneeze's long legs and eyes, etc. Roald Dahl used bark instead of said. The poster here gives another example of different words that could be used for said. And although I might display this on the wall or give it to the children to stick in their jotters for ideas, I'd also have a space for an interactive display that children could add their own ideas to encourage them to think about up-levelling their own writing. As I said before, I go on the assumption that we're learning something new. There's a similes PowerPoint presentation and worksheet to go along with that, and I've also included a similes and metaphors presentation as language progresses. After reading, noting ideas and finding resources, I create a detailed and sequenced plan linking to the experiences and outcomes. You'll see here that early level plans are organised in curriculum areas. First and second level novels are organised in chapters. In all plans, if something is highlighted in yellow, it means that there is a STEM link. This is an example of a first level plan for the book Matilda. The left-hand column shows the chapter, the middle column is suggested learning experiences, and the right-hand column illustrates experiences and outcomes related. Below the chapter name, if there's a Google Drive link, it takes you to an overview of activities for the full chapter. If there is a Google Drive link under the suggested learning experiences, it takes you directly to that individual task. For example, if I clicked on the visualiser task, it would take me straight to the description from the book. I've typed up all visualiser tasks so they could be done after reading in class or as a home learning task. Of course, you may also decide that you want to get the children to draw then and there as you read. Please remember, these are only suggested learning experiences, and the children may decide to take things in a completely different direction, and that is absolutely fine. These are suggestions from myself that I've created that I thought would be helpful, but please feel free to adapt and change to suit. These are the books that we have early level plans for at the moment. King of the Swamp, Litterbug Doug, and Somebody Swallowed Stanley have also been linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. This is an overview of the first level books that we have plans for at the moment. Jed's Really Useful Poem and Eco Wolf and the Three Pigs have also been linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. This is the range of second level novels that we have plans for. World Burned Down, Remembering Green and Song of the Dolphin Boy have been linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. All of the planners can be accessed on the STEM Nation site on the Raise page. The link in the QR code will take you straight there. As I said earlier, please feel free to change and adapt these planners to suit your own needs, but hopefully they'll provide a useful tool for in the classroom. Finally, if you have any questions, please do feel free to get in touch. My email address is here. If you decide to go ahead and create any planners of your own and you'd be happy for them to be shared, please send them on to me. I'd absolutely love to see them, and I would really love to see the library of resource that we have available grow as well. Thank you.